The 17th of February 2012, 8:15 p.m. Indianapolis, Indiana. I came out of mall, and two people were staring up at sky, so I stopped to look too. The woman said there was a UFO. Sure enough, there was a weird moving light that was flashing, sometimes white, then red, but it wasn't moving straight. I watched it for about a minute, and then it disappeared. It was cloudy. There was no noise. Interesting.
The 14th of April 2012, 12 a.m. Beech Grove, Indiana. I was at home, feeling strange for a few days, compelled to go outside. Seen jets flying over, then the circular object dropped out of the clouds. Hardly any sound, just a low hum, moving very slow. Watched it go southwest, then it went back up in the clouds. Felt happy. For some reason I knew what I was about to see.
Indianapolis, Indiana at 16:45 on the 25th of May 2012. I was sitting in my backyard with my dog. I was in a chair that faced the direction of about 180 to 185 degrees. I happened to look up to see an aircraft I heard. I saw the airliner on a course of about 350 degrees, around 3,000 feet AGL, to my west. I also noticed a very dark, solid-appearing object at about 85 degrees above the horizon. It was moving, slowly, in a northeasterly direction. It made no sound that I was aware of. It appeared to be a flattened circle in shape and was seemingly turning end over end. It had a very definite, sharply defined shape. It reminded me of what I would imagine a LP record would look like in the air, but it had a definite thickness. I know, a circle has no ends, but that is the best way to describe the movement. As it flipped over and seemed to wobble, it reflected the sunlight. It did not appear to be a bird, nor did it appear to be an aircraft. It had an apparent speed of about that of a soaring bird, but seemed to be higher than I have noticed birds flying in this area. It struck me as being solid and metallic, but that is just my opinion. As I have no idea of the altitude, I have no idea of the size, but it appeared to me to be between the size of Jupiter and the size of an aspirin at arm's length. It was under the very broken clouds. After about 15 seconds of uninterrupted observation, by now it was just past my apparent 90-degree point heading to the nay, it seemed to disappear. What was odd was that the sky where I last saw it seemed to shimmer for a brief moment. I had been outside for about 15 minutes, and am in relatively good health. I have spent years as an amateur skywatcher, with binoculars and telescope. I do have to admit this is the first thing seen in the air that I have not been able to explain. At first, I thought it was kite, or perhaps a balloon, but it did not seem to move like either.
Indianapolis, Indiana. While standing outside on a clear night, May 27, 2012 at about 12:35 a.m., my girlfriend and I both witnessed what appeared to be a satellite or commercial airliner at very high altitude, approximately 25,000 feet. What distinguished this single bright star-like light such that we knew it was not a conventional craft was that it went all the way from the western horizon to the eastern horizon in only about 8 seconds, flying in a straight line. We were astounded by the speed of the craft. Once it passed out of view, it did not return. So far, about 9 hours later, we have had no unusual experiences as a result of this sighting.
The 7th of June 2012, 9:10 p.m. I really think they were drones. 3 flew in side-by-side formation northeasterly, 1 went east, 1 turned west, lost sight of the third. This was in the Castleton area. There is a small airport close, but these were not full-size aircraft. Plus Wed and Thursday Black Hawks flying around. Fire truck sirens about 5 minutes after we lost sight, but not unusual for them in this area.
The 20th of June 2012, 10:32 p.m. Indianapolis, Indiana. Husband and I had just left gym when I had noticed a bright orange, red ball of fire-ish something in the sky. Thought it was a plane for a brief second, but quickly realized it wasn't that. Then noticed it was pulsating but was way too bright to be a star. Husband had then noticed others were outdoors looking at the sky and pointing as well. Then as quickly as it had appeared, it just dimmed a little and quickly disappeared, completely gone.
Around 10:20 p.m. we were outside sitting in our pool. We live southeast, just outside of Wanamaker, in. We saw first one very bright, unflickering, orange fireball. It looked like it might have been a misfired firework, but it continued east without losing altitude. Before this object flew out of sight, another bright orange ball appeared. This one was different though it headed north. The orange light disappeared and it was just a black object. It went over several houses and I swear it landed on someone's roof or yard. Then a few minutes later, a third orange light headed east, then disappeared. There were airplanes in the sky before and after we saw this, and they looked completely different. I was thinking maybe the air quality or smog was distorting the lights, but that didn't seem to be the case. Oh, and there was no noise coming from them, and they all came from the same exact direction in the sky northwest.
The 8th of September 2012, 9:30 p.m. Orange glowing balls of light that were scattered then lined up, hovered, started to scatter and just fade away one by one. I was driving south from Brownsburg towards Claremont on County Route 300. The lights were observed above Raceway Park. There was a race that had just ended. I think there may have been fireworks that just ended, however they had stopped before my observation. I can hear them from my house. Heard them going off before I left. I have never seen anything like this before, during, or after any fireworks displays I have seen. There were maybe 8 red-orange orb-shaped lights scattered in the sky hovering. They slowly began to move and line up. Then hovered and began to move and scatter again. They slowly faded one by one almost as if they were burning away. Thought maybe it was leftover embers from the fireworks, but doesn't make sense that they would linger in the air so long or move like that. I did observe lights from a plane nearby. We see many planes in this area. The objects seemed more distant. Observed similar objects hovering in the same area but from further away. At the Ronald Reagan Connection Road and US 136 on August 30, 2012, also at approximately 9:30. I am really hoping there is some logical explanation I am just not aware of. Since this happened during a race event, I am sure others saw it. Perhaps they knew of what it could be. I just found it very strange.
The 21st of October 2012, 9:13 a.m. Indianapolis, Indiana. 4 UFOs, bright red lights moved across the night sky slowly from the southeast of Indianapolis, Indiana, heading north. They were low in the sky, made no sound, no blinking lights. The event took place around 9:13 and lasted for 10 minutes. There were 4 witnesses to this event.
At approximately 10:36 p.m. on Saturday, October 21, 2012, my husband and I were looking for our hotel to the north of Indianapolis, Indiana, when we came upon 8 to 10 orange floating spheres that floated in and out of various formations before flying southwest and out of our view.
The 16th of November 2012, 7:25 p.m. Indianapolis, Indiana. I had just returned home from the corner store and noticed a star-like object blinking as it soared through the sky. I know it wasn't a shooting star. I looked for several minutes and noticed 2 more of the same star-like objects chasing each other on the opposite side of the sky, and their lights were also blinking simultaneously. I ran in the house and asked my son to come verify what I saw, and I guess the look on my face, he knew I meant it. He confirmed what I saw also. This isn't the first time I have seen a UFO. I also saw one in Flint, Michigan when I was 9 years old in 1979, along with my dad. The UFOs knew I was watching them because they would disappear and suddenly reappear and briefly hover. I tried to get a video but it turned out too dark.